obviously there was a bombshell, absolute bombshell yesterday of the Trump indictment. And it's very sad to see liberals pretend like this is like this big historic moment. I saw this conversation between Rachel Maddow and Lawrence O'Donnell, and it was like hundreds of years from now, you're gonna have students reading textbooks, and they're gonna read about how Donald Trump paid off a porn star and he was the first president that was indicted. And I'm like, imagine being that delusional that you think people are gonna be reading about Trump's relationship with a porn star. No, 100 years from now, they're gonna be talking about how Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden destroyed U.S. unipolarity and dominance. They're going to be talking about the war crimes of people like Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama, because it won't be the hero worship era over them anymore. Like, people even tell the truth about Christopher Columbus now. So people think they're going to talk about this on the history books, the Trump indictment, which is boring. Like, that's the best y'all have of campaign finance mishap, which Hillary Clinton did as well. Don't you want to get Trump on something better than that? You would think, right? Now that's the best they have. The most dangerous president of all time, but we're going to indict him on a payment to a porn star. They're not going to be talking about this in the history books. In the history books, they're going to be talking about the rise of China. They're going to be talking about how the American populace, how do you guys allow all these evil psychopaths in your government? Donald Trump is going to be a footnote among many of the psychopaths. The way we see it right now, you guys are like, oh man, I can't believe that we had a reality game show host as president. The same people who look up to Ronald Reagan, the actor. They look up to Ronald Reagan, they look down to Trump because he's not part of the club. So people in the future, they're going to look at this dude, Ronald Reagan, this fucking insane trickle-down economic preaching war hawk that waged war against the global South. And he was an actor. Look at Dick Cheney. They had this guy pretty much running the George W. Bush administration. You guys think they're going to hold back the way our establishment does on history? And you think they're going to talk about the Trump indictment? That is what liberals think is going to happen? Something that is extremely weak to get Trump on. Now, I do want to put back on the people who've been saying this. It's just a small disagreement where I see people say stuff like, man, Trump was indicted. It's really going to hurt the Trump administration. It's really going to hurt him. And then you have some people that say, oh, the Trump indictment, I'm going to just turn my camera off real quick. They say the Trump indictment is going to help Trump. And I disagree on both claims. A lot of people who support Trump and MAGA, they are seething. They are coping because now we're going to get the Trump mugshot or whatever. But they are tweeting out, they're all saying, oh, this is going to guarantee Trump's reelection in 2024. And I think people are kind of blown out of proportion, to be honest. This is political theater. Do you guys really think the American people care one way or another about this? Strongly. Now, you got Republicans. What this really did, this killed Ron DeSantis. It killed the chance of Republican primary because everyone coming out in support of Donald Trump on the right. You even had Ron DeSantis that came out like the ultimate cuck with a statement saying, you won't arrest him in Florida. You had Mike Pence like an ultimate cuck on CNN saying this is atrocious disdain on the democracy, defending Trump, the guy that's supposed to be his rival. So this killed the Republican primary. But who did not vote for Donald Trump in 2020 that's going to vote for him now because of this? All the people that was fired up over the culture wars in 2020 and people that was on board for Trump, they're going to vote for him again. This is not, to me, why I think is going to be the biggest influence on this election, this race. It's going to be Donald Trump's position on Ukraine. That's way more interesting And that can be way more influential on getting people who are independent. Already seen some independents that don't like Trump that said, man, I may vote for Trump just because of his war stance. Obviously, I disagree with that. We post-duopoly leftists here. I think Donald Trump is lying. I don't trust him on that. And that's shown by his appointments as president, the people he rubbed elbows with, people like Mike Pompeo, John Bolton, and these swamp monsters. And even now, he's not really running away from the fact that he want to double down on this police state, that he want to escalate war with China. So I don't know why people necessarily believe the guy. But that's his rhetoric on Ukraine is way more influential and way more impactful in the race than the Trump indictment. The people who are all in for Trump, of course, they're riled up, but they're going to be riled up anyway. There are people riled up for Trump because of COVID, because of Biden and COVID, because of Biden and Ukraine, because Biden's just generally terrible. So I don't think it's going to be a needle mover in terms of deciding the race. Most apolitical people, they either like, oh yeah, they finally charged this motherfucker, or they like, oh whatever, this dude getting charged, whatever. There's no one running to this guy's defense. They're just fancy that MAGA people running with where there are people that don't pay attention to politics, apolitical people, like people in my family, and then Trump got indicted. They're like, oh no, we got to cut down Trump's defense. No, we got bills to pay and shit. No ordinary people is not running down Trump's defense over this. That's why I put back. That's why there's nothing but political theater. That's why as Marxists, I look at this and I laugh because I take advantage of capitalist infighting. I think we should take advantage of that. But I'm going to show you guys this because this is an important point to make. And this is what Democrats and progressives are going to have a hard time to deal with, is the inherent hypocrisy. And the people I have no respect for are the people who vote for Joe Biden, vote for absolute war criminals, but they feel like they want to prosecute Putin for war crimes. They feel like they can indict Donald Trump while they supporting criminals. I'm going to show you guys who wasn't indicted by the United States. And this is something that we must call out. We must call this out because it's not whataboutism. What they are doing is propaganda of the highest order, weaponized propaganda, because they are using weaponized hypocrisy. So it'll be one thing if you're consistent down the line, because of the line that liberals are saying right now is that no one is above the law. No one's above the law. So that's why I went after Donald Trump over shit that Hillary Clinton did and many other politicians have done. But the reason why that's bullshit is because you guys look up to these people. Barack Obama has a Netflix show. George W. Bush is painting. Bill Clinton is free. Meanwhile, you guys are talking about we have a government that's maintaining the rule of law. MSNBC is like, man, this is a historic day for America because we are sending the message that no one is above the law. Meanwhile, look at these war criminals. Barack Obama, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton. Each one of these people individually is responsible for more death and destruction than the mob, than the Mexican cartels, than all the stuff that white America fears. I'm letting you guys know, those three people killed more than them, been more destabilizing than them. But tell me more about your rule of law when you got fucking Michelle Obama and George W. Bush being worshipped by liberal blue checks. He dancing with Ellen. Bill Clinton just walking around doing, giving public speeches as if he's not a war criminal. You got Hillary Clinton, who's a fucking teacher now, apparently. The person who's responsible for the slave state of Libya, the heist of Haiti through the Hillary Clinton Foundation, responsible for and supporting every single war in the modern era, including Iraq, Afghanistan. But Hillary Clinton joins Columbia University as a professor and fellow in global affairs. That's some rules-based order for your ass. Now This rank, disgusting hypocrisy is what makes the Trump indictment thing kind of disgusting. And that is what back up the claims and arguments that people on the right make, where they say this is weaponizing the Justice Department, which is 100% what it is. I'm not saying Trump is not guilty. I'm not saying that these people are not criminals. I'm not saying people cannot be held accountable. But what you guys doing is factually weaponizing the Justice Department to go after your enemies, the same thing you guys accuse Donald Trump is doing. Because if it wasn't that, you guys would be prosecuting, going after Hillary Clinton. You guys would be going after Bill Clinton. You guys would be going after Barack Obama. You guys would be going after John Bolton, who's a regular guest on CNN and MSNBC. But tell me more about how this is not political, how this is about saving democracy, and showing people how certain people are now above the rule of law. Now I have something that's even more ridiculous to show you guys. The debate between Mehdi Hasan and this neocon. Go ahead, artist. This neocon who he's all for prosecuting Vladimir Putin for war crimes, right? But he's arguing against prosecuting George W. Bush for war crimes. So Mehdi Hasan is shit-lived with 1,000 blind spots. And I'm going to explain to you guys some of these blind spots as we go through this debate. He actually does a decent segment where he's like he almost there. But he obviously not there because he's a propagandist. He's there to run the flexion for the Democratic Party because he's like, man, I am all for prosecuting and arresting Vladimir Putin for war crimes, but shouldn't we also arrest George W. Bush?